Of the many customers you had in the car sales game, what was the worst one? Right off the bat.
All right. So this was towards still the beginning-ish, right? So I still needed some help here and there, especially with the finance stuff.
Yep.
I was only doing half deals, right? So I sold the car, and then when it came to the finance stuff, I needed somebody to fill out the credit application, make sure everything looked all good before we send it in, right?
Yeah.
This dude came in on a Saturday. We're busy as all hell. And he comes in and goes, I'm looking for a truck. He's like, all right, what are you looking for? He's like, I don't fucking know. You tell me. I was like, all right. And I'm still new. I know absolutely nothing about trucks. I still don't know a whole lot about trucks because they're so complicated with all the different trim levels and packages. They just don't make any sense. So what I always did was I pulled up the website, and it's just like, all right, what are you looking for? And then everything he would say, I would do the little checks on the website, right? And they pulled up our list. And it's like, all right, so here's the trucks I got. He's like, what's this one? And it was this truck. It had no picture, nothing. I was like, I'm not entirely sure. So I clicked on it. It's like, all right, here's looks like to be what the price is going to be, the mileage and stuff. He's like, well, where the fuck is it? It was like, I can look for it. You want to test drive it? Yeah. That's why I'm asking. It's like, all right, you fucking prick. And then I go off to go find these keys and stuff like that. And I run it by the manager and stuff like that because it's kind of one of those things. It's like, hey, this is what I'm working on. I might need some help with this because he's a prick and all this stuff. One of my sales managers, Zach, coolest dude in the world. All he did was smoke cigarettes all day and walk around and joke around and stuff like that. He's like, dude, give this guy the keys, go to do a quick test drive and get him the fuck out of here because all he's going to do is bring the store down. You're never going to sell to this guy. So go find the keys. And this was a truck that we just got off of auction, so it hadn't even gone through inspection yet. So even if you wanted the car, he couldn't even take it. But we could look at it, do a little quick once around. You're not supposed to technically go on test drives with these cars because they haven't been inspected because the wheels could literally fall off of them. Mm-hmm. We did it anyway. We go through, we do a little once around. The first thing that we're supposed to say, because since Walzer's a little bit different, is that we're not paid off commission. Because I wasn't technically paid off of commission. I was technically a salary. I was like, hey, just right off the bat, want to let you know, not paid off of commission, salary position, strictly here to help. He's like, I don't fucking care how you get paid. I just want to see the truck. I was like, all right, whatever. So we go through, we look at it. He's like, all right, cool. I want to buy it. I was like, well, I can't sell it to you today. It has to still go through inspection. It'll be ready in a couple days. He's like, well, let me at least fucking, how do I secure it, make it mine? It's like, whatever. So I go talk to the manager. He's like, all right, let's just fill out a credit application, get him on the process, and so we can get him the fuck out of this store. I sit down with him, and we start entering in all the information, right? And then Zach comes over because he has to help me. All the other salesmen are busy. And Zach's running through all the stuff, putting in all his information, and the customer is giving Zach the hardest time. Zach is like one of those guys. He's always happy, doing the works, making customers laugh, and he is sweating because the dude will not laugh. So he runs it through, and this guy was the guy that didn't exactly give the correct income stuff coming in. So when we go back and we're looking through, he's not getting approved. So I go in and talk to him and stuff like that. And I finally get him to talk a little bit because he's a veteran. He's just a grumpy old fucker and stuff like that. And he's got like gold coins and he goes shooting and stuff. And he's just like talking and stuff like that. And I finally get him to laugh. So I'm thinking, all right, here we go. Mm-hmm. We get his income fixed and everything like that. Got him at a decent rate, decent pay. The works, right? And we get one of the salesmen in, right? So he can do the pitch, right? And dude comes over. He tries to talk to him, make him laugh. He can't do it. And then he leaves, and I'm still talking to him. I'm able to get him to laugh still. So we're still golden, right? Mm-hmm. He goes through the pitch, right?
Yeah.
And we go through talk, and he like looks over in the corner of what we call the menu, and he wants the package with all the add-ons, all the bells and whistles. So I'm thinking in my head, cha-ching. Perfect.
Yeah.
It's like my second or third car sale, and I'm going to get a full fucking boat just because I was able to do what nobody else could, and I could make this fucker laugh.
Yeah.
So we go through, we sign all the paperwork, right? Everything's done. Done deal. Full boat.
But
But the truck still needs to be inspected, right? Still needs to go through the whole thing. Can't just do the, all right, looks good, right? He has to go through a full thing. So he has to come back in a couple days to actually get the vehicle. He also needed to put down some cash, and he was fully aware that he needed to put down like 14 grand to afford all of this, because all the back end stuff he had to pay for up front. Knew full well, he's like, all right, yeah, I'll just cash in some coins and we'll call it good. Whatever, do what you're gonna do.
yeah.
Truck's ready to go. We were able to do it in a day because we just wanted this deal done because it's a big ass deal.
Yeah.
Right? It was usually on a back end of a car deal, you get 2, 3, maybe 4 grand off of this. I made the dealership almost 20 grand off this deal.
Holy shit.
Because it is a whopper, dude. So all we wanted to do was get that on the books, right? We call him up, and he's like, yeah, so I don't really have the 14 grand to put down. I was like, what do you got? He's like, can maybe get 4. It's like, well, so that kind of walks us in a little situation because we have this whole deal done, right?
Yeah.
We have all these add-on situations. The truck's about to go out for all these add-ons that you want. He's like, what add-ons? It was like all the stuff we talked about. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh no! It's in your paperwork. All the stuff that you signed for that you wanted that we talked about. The warranties, the spray, the works. He's like, oh, I don't want any of that. What? So he had to come in, and we had to work the entire deal from the beginning, and it took an extra 2.5 hours. Because it takes extra long to work a deal backwards and then to reapply it. So it was a 6-hour deal for the dude to be a grumpy asshole, to finally break him down, and then we have to redo a deal twice. And all we wanted this dude to do is go away. The problem was he had my phone number and he had Zach's phone number. He called us every single day for 6 months to let us know the truck was good. I think somebody's following me, like an old owner, because I was looking into it, and it might have been repossessed, but I'm not entirely sure. And I think the old owner wants his truck back.
What the fuck?
Hey, do you want to go shooting one day? Hey, I have the land up way up north that we talked about. When do you want to go see it? It's like, dude, that's small talk. It's like,
oh my God.
Leave me alone.
Right.
Yeah.
So the guy was kind of lonely.
Yeah, super long. Yeah, big ass house. So kind of over. I had to go to his house to drop off the truck at one point. Yeah, he's actually got a big ass house. He works for a fucking security company.
Have you ever had some kind of car deal where like the guy came in the morning and it literally took all day?
Yeah, do you want to talk about this one?
Let's hear it. Like,
all right. This car deal almost got me fired.
Okay.
During COVID, my lovely bosses decided that we needed a new building, right? So they demolished our building, and we were working out of a trailer in the middle of winter during COVID.
Yeah.
So nobody, especially super big COVID people, were not going to go into a trailer full with 20 people, right? So some deals I had to work outside
in the cold
while people were sitting in their vehicle where it was nice and warm all day. You know, it was a little small sales team and stuff like that. So we almost never wore masks unless customers were in, and if customers cared at that point, because it was towards the end, right, when everybody was sick of masks. So I go and deal with this guy. He's trying to buy a vehicle for his mother, and his mother barely speaks any English, and all he wants to do is get me for everything I'm worth. And I have nothing to give because it's upfront pricing. There's no negotiating the works, right? So we go look at this vehicle, and we look at it. It's a beautiful fucking, I think it's a Malibu, of course, used. And we're looking at it. We go through a full test drive. Everything goes good. It's starting to get a fucking cold out. It's the middle of winter, and everything goes good. We want to buy it. Awesome. They won't go into the trailer. All right. I grab my little Surface thing, and I go out to them. I was like, all right, let's type in all the credit applications, stuff like this. That took alone 3.5 hours. Okay. And it is my Tuesday, so I was already going to be there from 9 to 9.
Because, like, they needed to translate everything, or?
Well, so I had one day that I worked open to close. And that was, of course, my open to close day.
Like, why? It took 3 hours to do a credit
they just couldn't. They couldn't decide. They wanted to negotiate. I had to keep telling them over and over we couldn't negotiate. Then it got to, like, the trade-in stuff.
Oh.
And we can do a whole fucking video on trade-ins. It's ridiculous. A whole thing about the trade-in and stuff like that. I mean, it literally took 3.5 hours, maybe even 4, to get to that point. I was outside the entire time. Middle of winter. It's literally December when I was doing this. No jacket, because I was only supposed to be out there for a 2-minute conversation because I needed them to answer one question, and it turned into a debate, an argument, in the works. And I was freezing cold, and I was going to have none of it. Mm-hmm. I go through and I send that credit application in. I go talk with my boss. Everything looks good. He sends it out. I'm in warming up. All of a sudden, I hear like screeching of tires. I look out the window. Dude's fucking bolting it.
What the fuck?
I'm like, what the fuck? There's no customers. So I throw a fucking pen at the wall. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me right now? I just spent almost 4.5 hours with these stupid motherfuckers, and they just left. I was pissed. And then eventually they came back. 2 hours later. They're like, oh yeah, we just went to go get food. I was like, tell me. Like, at least, like,
yeah,
say something. I thought you turned off. I put the car back. I told the bank you weren't interested. We had to restart.
Oh, no.
So, go through everything, right? Finally, after almost 8 hours working this deal, I have a menu, right? And I already know they're not buying shit, but I still have to try to make some money off of this wasted day because everybody else has 2 car deals for the day, and I've worked with 1 customer all day. So I grab my jacket. I go outside to work this menu, and I'm just hoping it's in and out. You tell me no, I go about my day. We do the paperwork, then you're gone. Leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Instead, it was a 2.5 hour discussion about the warranty. And multiple times I thought I was about to get it, but he was thinking I was going to give it to him for free. Why am I giving you a $4,000 warranty for free?
Right.
Because I'm buying a car from you. You're buying this car at this point. I'm not giving you anything for free.
Right.
Oh, but you're going to give me a spoiler. No, I'm not. 2.5 hours just arguing back and forth and back and forth. And I am freezing. I'm pissed off. And we go through those whole motions, right? Eventually, get the car deal done. He takes off. Car breaks down in the middle of the night. Fuck.
But were they screwing around? Keep going.
So they left the sunroof open, middle of winter. Snow got in. Eventually it melted. It looked like there was flood damage.
Okay.
Yeah. So they brought it in and said that we messed with something. There's water damage. We need to fix it. And then we were also going to give them a spoiler. No, it wasn't. But we did fix it for them just because it was within a 7-day window. And we just didn't want to deal with them at that point.
Yeah.
So it was just make them happy, send them on their way. Just so it wasn't another wasted day. Well, then they call my general manager after a couple days and said, I promised them this, that, everything. I got a email, 6 paragraphs about this customer. Why weren't they dealt with? What the fuck was going on? The works. Like, this car deal was done a week ago. Why are they reaching out? Why are they saying this and that and all this bullshit?
Yeah.
This is my day off. And I was done. I wrote an email back. I was like, I don't fucking care. I didn't promise them shit.
Yeah.
They were CC'd on the email. So, yeah.
I guess that's kind of the part that sucks. Maybe because did that ever come up again where people would say things were promised and they weren't?
Yes and no.
So these guys were kind of a rare case.
Yeah, it's usually when things are promised. Most of the time, a manager knows where you're at and what you've more or less said to the customer every single step of the way, which is really nice because then they can always back you up. That was the case because they wouldn't come in, so none of the managers heard me talking to the customer, so they couldn't say this is what was said. Plus, it was a fucking 12-hour deal, so.
Yeah, so what time did they finally leave that first day?
An hour after we closed. 10 o'clock.
So, like, you and them were, like, the only ones there?
Yeah, my manager, yeah. He was pissed.
And what time again did they get there in the morning?
Right when we opened, 9 a.m.
Oh, my God.
See, and that's the thing, too. Like, a car deal, if you come in and you're not being unreasonable or anything like that, I can get you in and out in a brand new car, hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Hour and a half. Everybody complains about car dealerships take too long, takes 5 hours, takes all day. No.
If they're buying a used car, can you do it even quicker?
It's still about an hour and a half.
What if...
Unless you're coming in like you're pre-approved or whatever, then sometimes it can be quicker. It depends on who you're pre-approved through and if they either worked with that dealership or if you have to go turn around and go back to the bank and get all your information and stuff situated out, because then you have to go get the check from your bank if you're pre-approved that way. So there's a lot of different things that go to how long it takes, and usually it's all on the customer. So the only reason it takes that long.
When it comes to used cars, at least at Walsher for you, what were like the absolute cheapest used cars that they would have available?
Like a Spark. Like a little Chevy Spark.
Like,
that almost
what
looks
kind
like
of price are we looking at? $5,000, $6,000,
basically.
So right around there was
usually the cheapest car we kept on our lot was right around 8 to 10, because we wanted to make sure that there was a car that we could still put a warranty on.
Oh, that's okay. That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, because that's the only way we made money. And then older cars that were really cheap always had problems, so you were going to be right back. And I wasn't going to deal with you for a $3,000 car.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was going to ask. Did you ever have a customer buy something for $3,000 and they just expected the world and then...
Not a $3,000 car. I did have a guy that came in and he bought a $12,000. I say that and you're like, all right, $12,000. That's a pretty expensive car.
Yeah.
But it was a truck. It was a Toyota Tacoma. It was a little older.
Yeah.
And we were right in the middle of COVID, where trucks were going for ridiculous amounts of money.
Oh.
But this Tacoma had quite a bit of miles. It was older, and it was literally, it had the antenna and stuff like that still on it. All right, this will be interesting.
Okay.
So I was working this deal with another salesman and stuff like that, and we were going through the motions, and they wanted the world, right? They wanted us to negotiate with them.
Yep.
They were trading in a vehicle, so it was even less than $12,000. Technically, they were getting no add-ons, nothing, and so it was a simple. All right, it was it's just a notch, right? Because I can make up the aftermarket stuff later on a different deal, just get them in and out. I had them all through the motions and everything within an hour, right? It was one of my fastest car deals. I was on a roll. I get a phone call from the detail guy. We had a detail guy that day. He's like, hey, I need you to come look at something. I was like, fuck me. And it's a good, 6-minute walk to the detail thing, because we're at the trailer at one corner, and then we had kind of a makeshift building up on the whole other end of the lot. So I walk all the way over there. I'm like, all right, what the fuck could this be? Walk in, and there's the truck. It looks fine. And he's like, so I fucked up. He's like, what'd you do? When he went through the car wash, he didn't take the antenna off.
Oh.
It snapped. So every time when you drove the vehicle, right, if you were parked, radio worked fine. As soon as you started driving, it slowly got more and more staticky until there was no radio. It's like, you've got to be fucking kidding me right now. Because they've already bitched a little bit, because the truck did go up in price from when they first called about it. It went up like $500 just because that's where the market was going.
Yeah.
So they're already bitching. And it's like, all right, we broke this fucking vehicle. How the fuck? There's no car deal at this point, right? They're not going to take this vehicle. We're not going to fix the antenna for them right off the bat, because they're expecting to take this right here and there. And it's the end of the month. So I needed this deal out. So I called the used car salesman. I was like, hey, detail guy broke the antenna. What are we going to do? Because we don't have the parts to fix it, and I need this thing out. He's like, don't tell him. Let him figure it out himself.
Yeah.
Because dude is a prick anyway. If he was nice or whatever, probably let him know or whatever, but just didn't tell him. I parked the vehicle. I let the other Chelsea, I let her know. I was like, hey, just so you know, we broke this shit. I have no idea if he's going to get off the lot. Dude gets in his car, takes off. I was like, fuck yeah. All right. Wait about an hour. He didn't come back. All right, cool. Yeah, I got a phone call the next day. Hey, the radio's not working. I was driving. I don't know. It seemed a little weird. The radio was coming in and out. Thought, whatever, no big deal. Then I looked. It looks like there was supposed to be an antenna in here. There's no antenna. I was like, oh, really? Huh. I don't know. Did you look around? Maybe the antenna's in something or whatever. He's like, no, it's not there.
I would have been like, what did you do?
I don't know. I was like, well, I can't really remember. Did you get that warranty that we talked about? He's like, no, I didn't get a warranty. But you're going to fix this, right? Well, you see.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those things that we talked about. Is like, as soon as you drive off the lot, there's nothing I can really do for you. Unless you had the warranty. It's just like, my hands are tied at that point. I'll talk to my manager, but I mean, and then since it was the next month, we did fix it for him, because it's the ethical part of it. But hey, always buy that warranty. Never know.
You heard it there. Kids, buy the warranty. So otherwise, you guys ended up fixing it for him? You brought it somewhere else, probably?
Nah, we fixed it. No, he did go to the Toyota thing, and then I think we paid for half of it or whatever.
I can't imagine an antenna. Well, I guess labor will be $100 or $150 an hour or something, but I can't imagine it's too crazy a job.
I think it was $250 for the total, because he went to a dealership, so obviously it's going to be a little more expensive. So it was.
And I'm sure a lot of that was just labor.
Yeah.
Than the actual antenna piece, but all right, you got it figured out. What percentage of people came into the dealership and told you up front they were paying cash, no finance? And then part 2 of that question at Walzer, does it affect your pay if they finance or pay cash?
Ooh, all right.
I just need an estimate percentage.
So sometimes it wasn't fully cash. Sometimes it's one of those pre-approved, I'm going through my credit union. And I'll lump those together because then it's like more like 50-50.
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes hand in hand with the pay. If you do not finance through the dealership, at least at my dealership, I wanted nothing to do with you. Absolutely nothing to do with you.
Because the pay was that bad.
So I was paid salary. I got money on the back end, right? Back end includes add-ons that I sell you, but then also when you finance, when you finance through a dealership, they go up a couple points, right? So if you're pre-approved or you're approved through, let's say, U.S. Bank for 3% for a $60,000 loan or whatever, we can bump that up to 5%, as high as 5%, and that extra 2% adds to my back end. And then I got a certain amount of back end all month that goes to my paycheck. If you go through your credit union, my back end on that deal, because you're probably not going to get a warranty, because credit unions have their own warranty, which sucks, and they have their own everything, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting nothing. So my back end for your entire car deal is 0. I'm getting nothing, especially when you pay cash. I'm definitely not getting nothing, because if you're coming in, I want that $15,000 car, and then I'm going to try and sell you a $5,000 warranty, so I'm bumping that up to 20 G's.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I'm selling that to you. So if you come into a dealership, I want nothing to do with you unless you're financing through the, through the dealership. As much as possible. Now,
so
if it's the end of the month and I need a car deal, I'm selling you a fucking car.
Okay. So what about if someone does finance you the dealership and then they pay it off 30 days in?
Doesn't matter to me.
So okay, you're still good then.
Yep.
Okay.
All I need is that 2 points, or even a point or whatever. There's a little finicky stuff that we can do to that. But even then, like some banks will only let dealerships mark up a point or a half a point or something like that too. So
people that went with the credit union or their bank and cash versus financing through the dealership, what like percentages would you say?
About 50-50.
Would people ever tell you up front, like, hi, my name is Austin, I'm paying with cash, and then they'd be like, I'm paying with cash? Were there ever those kind of people? Or would they hide it till the end?
They would hide it until I asked.
Like online on TikTok, all the gurus, you always wait till the end to tell them because you get a better deal. But I feel like after talking to you, they're same price either way.
It's the same price no matter what. If anything, it just impacts how much I really want to deal with you and how much of my time I'm going to give you. Because if I'm not making any money off you, like I'll get you your car, but I need you in and out. And I need this as smooth as possible.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And then that's where it's totally on you how long it takes. Because if you're pre-approved, it's, all right, I just need name, address, a couple other things. And that's it, right? As purchase agreement, give this to your bank, come back with a check, and then you get the car.
It's kind of stereotypical online that, like, cash payers are typically Karens. How true is that? Very true. Okay.
So when I give you a purchase agreement, those cash payers are looking through all those fees and are asking me, what's this fee, what's this fee, what's this fee? And some of it's, why am I getting taxed by the state? Because it's a fucking state tax, or why is there this fee? Because we clean the car for you, you have to, there's a fee for everything and stuff like that, and explaining those, and some of them are just so stupid and stuff like that. And then it's like, well, but when I came in, it was this price, and now it's up there. It's because you got taxed.
Yeah, and right, people should know that, especially if you're older. Probably not buying your first car ever.
Yeah, and some people will come in like, hey, I'm paying cash. Like, I should bow down to you or something like that. It's like, dude, that makes me not want to sell you a car.
I think you told me years ago that, like, when people would come in and, like, everyone knew they were paying cash, like, all the salesmen, you guys would, like, all hide.
100%. 100%. Unless you're like the nicest guy in the world and you come in regularly, because there'll be some of those guys that every quarter or something like that, they'll come and buy a new vehicle just because. then absolutely, I want you as my customer because, hey, that's a car deal I can bet on every 3 to 6 months. You know?
Why were they buying a car every 3 to 6 months? Big family or?
Some people have the cash for it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, unless you're doing that, I want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with you.
You have any good Karen stories while we're on the topic? Any older ladies, short hair, attitude?
Ooh. So, I got kind of two.
Okay, what were they buying?
So I had this one lady. She was buying an Odyssey, right? She had looked all over. She just needed a minivan. So she wanted this Honda Odyssey. She couldn't find one for a decent price anywhere. Actually, for the most part, super nice lady.
Okay.
As soon as we got to all the financing stuff, total bitch. Total bitch. We go through, and her credit sucked, so she had a higher interest rate. So the only thing I was trying to sell her was, I can't think of exactly what it's called off the top of my head, but basically it was this insurance where if you total out the vehicle while you're still paying off the loan, gap insurance.
Oh.
It'll basically take the rest of the loan away, right? That way you're not stuck with this big-ass deductible because we wiped out your deductible. The loan's paid for, so you're good, right? Because otherwise you have to pay the rest of the loan off plus your deductible before you can touch another vehicle, right? So it can save you, depending on the vehicle, like $4 to $6 grand, more or less, right? So I was explaining this whole thing to her, and we have like this graph that I map out for you in the works, right, to make it as easy as possible, right? And no matter what, I always recommend buy gap insurance because it's literally like $5 a month, and if something happens because people are stupid, saves you a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
It's like $120 over your whole loan. It's stupid not to get it. And going through the motions, she didn't get it. And she was a total bitch about it too, because I was trying to hammer it because she had like a 15% interest rate. I was like, your gap is fucking huge if something happens.
Yeah.
No, I'm good. 2 weeks later, totaled out her vehicle.
Oh my God.
So, and then when a dealership sells a car, they get first dibs at the customer. Like, we get notified that she totaled it out, right? The banks notify us. So I call her to try to get her on the phone. She doesn't answer. I left her a voicemail. Never got a call back. So.
And you think that's maybe why?
100%.
Oh, okay.
100%. Yeah. No matter what, if it's through your insurance company, something, get gap insurance when you buy a
So
car.
how did the bank know that she totaled her vehicle?
The insurance.
Oh, what was the other Karen?
This lady came in, husband and wife, came in an hour late for their appointment, so the salesman that they were supposed to work with wasn't there anymore. So I took it, right? It's just going to be a half a deal, so I wasn't even getting a full car deal out of it. She was there for 2.5 hours. We went around this stupid Suburban that was 3.5 years old, so it was used, and it was red, right? So red, when it gets scratched or little nicks or something like that, you can see it, right? You can't get them all off because some of them are through the clear coat or whatever. But we're going through, and she is poking at every single scratch, every single nick, and I was just like, come on. It's a used vehicle.
Right.
Look, I was in the auto body business. It's a used vehicle. It kind of is what it is. We priced it accordingly. We can try to get some of the scratches out. You know, I did it myself for, 2.5, 3 years. I can try to do it a little bit for you. Not a big deal. Because I just wanted her gone. It is just nitpicking. I would buff the entire car if that means she went away. And stuff like that. And dude, she touched every single scratch possible. And she was pre-approved, so I didn't want to deal with her anyways. Getting a half a car deal with no back end. I was like, I did not fucking care. And she just kept poking at every single scratch. She's like, look, I've been in the business. I've done this. this is either not going to come out or I can try. And she just kept going on and on and on and on. Finally, I'm making an appointment with her. Hey, just come back tomorrow. I'll deal with the regular car salesman that you're supposed to and whatever. And I'll see what I can do overnight with it and stuff like that. So, and then I go back with that vehicle after she leaves, right? And I go around the car and I just, touch up a couple of the bigger scratches, whatever. Not a big deal. It took me maybe 15 minutes, whatever. I got a phone call the next day because she came in with her husband again. and the salesman was like, hey, just so you know, come in a little bit late because she is still here. She's waiting for you to come because you missed a couple scratches that you apparently said you were going to get out completely. It should look brand new. And she specifically said, well, he's been doing this for 2.5, 3 years, so he should know better. I was like, all right, whatever. And I just didn't go into work that day. I just wasn't going to deal with it. Yeah. The scratches on used vehicle drove me insane.
And I imagine at some point you were like, if you are so upset about these scratches, let's look at a new Suburban. And
absolutely. And she's like, I don't want to pay an extra $30,000 for a new car. It's like, do you want scratches or do you want no scratches? Because this is kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah, and that's just so silly to me. But like you said, with some of these customers, when you got money, they're just.
It's kind of nice too, because some people expect that as a car salesman, you're just gonna tell them whatever you want them to say or whatever. And with it being salary position, there was times you could just lay into a customer like, look, I'm not doing this for you. You can buy the car or you can go because somebody else will buy it in a week. Especially around COVID when we couldn't even hold on to used cars for longer than a week. I used that all the time. It was so great because then it was just, hey, buy the car or go.
Yeah,
I ain't got time for this.
Question about maybe a new set of customers here. When you would do the financing for people, you would see their credit score. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Like their FICO, their TransUnion. Do you remember which one? Oh, all of them. Okay, all three. Nice. Your whole time doing it, what was the worst one you ever saw? And what was the worst one you ever heard someone seeing at the dealership?
I had one of the worst in the whole dealership. Because, you could get the zeros, but that's just because nobody doesn't have a file. And we wouldn't even necessarily see those. It's just, he doesn't have a file. He can't get a car.
Yeah, like someone we know that has a 4. Yeah.
Right. The worst I saw was a 390.
What was the story there?
Dude, I got this dude approved.
For what?
A $15,000 car.
What was down? 14.5 or what?
$500.
What? Okay, let's just tell me the whole story. Let's hear it.
All right. So, dude came in. He was looking at this SUV. I forget exactly what it is. I just remember it was a white SUV. We went through, loved it. He needed a new car, and he was actually trading in something in it because it was actually a $20,000 vehicle that he was buying. We had a $5,000 trade-in, which brought the vehicle down, and it kind of looked like it was money down. It's the only reason he got approved.
Okay.
So this is gonna sound bad, but it's not.
Okay.
So when your credit gets run through a dealership, right, and it's like, hey, I don't want 100 hits dealing out, right? As long as you buy a car, or at least as long as you do it within a certain window, it's actually only 1 hit on your credit versus 100, right? Because it's all for one thing. It's an auto loan. You're just going through a couple banks to do it, right?
Yep.
So it's actually 1 hit. That's what people get confused about. Some people think, oh, I have 100+ hits on my credit score because no, you have 1. Stop being stupid. But we had to shop this dude's credit to every bank under the sun. It took a while. I was able to get another car deal done while also working on his, and he just sat there and stuff like that. So we walked through, finally got him approved for a 18% rate. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. One, that you got approved, but then also have that interest rate. I walked him through. I can't get almost anything on the back end except for Gap. And I sat down. I looked at him and was like, look, man, you've been here for 5 hours. I actually got you a car deal. And I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot leave this dealership without getting Gap insurance. And otherwise, I'm not selling you a car. You got Gap insurance? Dude actually hugged me. We got up, we did all the paperwork, and dude get like biggest fucking bear hug I ever got, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's
So he must have had good income.
no.
So
You mean
again, this was a $15,000 car
Yeah.
with only $500 down.
No.
$5,000 or what?
Technically, it's 5 is for the trade.
Or what with the trade in $5,000?
Yeah, the trade-in was $5,000, and that looked like money down. So banks will approve anybody if it looks like they have money down. Technically, the trade-in looks like money down because he owned the car free and clear. So we were technically giving him $5,000 for that. So it looked like money down. We had to finagle it a little bit.
So that's okay. That's
yeah. See, a lot of people say the car dealerships are unethical. Hey, we're unethical, but on your side because we want you to buy the car.
Yeah.
We just look unethical to the banks.
Yeah. And again, you said this guy had a 15% interest rate.
He's like 18.
18% interest rate. Jesus.
Yeah.
And I assume he had to do like the shortest like months.
No.
You even got him on the longest.
I got him on a 70.
Holy shit!
I was a good car salesman. No, because I wanted him on the longest term possible. One, because I needed to make sure that he could actually afford the monthly payment. Otherwise, I wasn't going to get the deal. But then also, the longer the term, the longer those 2 points that I was getting carries over. So the bigger my back end.
I just figured the bank with a 390 credit score would want something short so they're getting their money back right away or halfway through when the guy quits paying. But
not when I worked that deal. So
there's so many people listening that wish they worked with you. Because that's something, I get the TikToks now and then, people, credit scores in the 400s, 500s, and
as long as
the bank just says, or the credit people just say, go get a down payment, or go figure it out, or go someplace else.
As long as there's like a steady income stream and there's a way to finagle some kind of down payment, you can get approved for almost anything.
Okay. So,
especially around that time. Now it might be a little harder.